Hey everyone, welcome to the Japan Cricket Podcast. This is your host, Reo Sakurano Thomas. I am yet again filming this inside the walls of the SICG. I'd first like to apologize for the lack of uploads. It's probably been well over a month since our last episode. It's just been a really busy summer here. Obviously very hot, as you know, if you've ever been to Sano before. It's currently the last week of August, but yeah, we've got quite a few things to talk about in this pod. We're going to start with, firstly, an interview with Jake Kusuda-Nairn, who has been working with the Japan Cricket Association for around 4 months or so. We actually recorded the episode a couple of weeks ago, so actually he's left. So yeah, I can't remember. It was a couple of weeks back. But yeah, we're talking to him about how he got involved with Japan cricket and why he chose to move over here and all like that. And then after that interview, I'm going to go through over what's been happening this year in the Japan Cricket League. You've got 4 divisions. I can't go through all of them in detail, but I'll try quickly skim through everything else that's happening and what's to come. So yeah, again, sorry, it's been a while since our last upload, but I'll try and make it up. I'll try to be better for the remainder of the season. So yeah, let's get straight into the interview, I guess. Alrighty. I'd like to welcome my guest on the pod today, Jake Kusuda-Nairn. How are you, Jake?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. It's scraping the bottom of the barrel. Keen to just have a chat.
Sweet. No, you're a high priority on my list of guests. I'm actually kind of running out. So. For those who don't know, Jake is another one of hundreds of many half Japanese Aussie boys who is now involved in Japan cricket. This year, Jake has been living in Japan for, how long is it, Nina? 5 months. He's been working at the JCL doing many things, from pieces, mowing the lawns to rolling to painting the deck to commentating. Yeah. And then he's gotten back into cricket. We'll talk more about his journey of playing cricket in Japan and overseas. But yeah, today I've got a flurry of questions to throw at you, Jake. So let's just start with the first one. So tell me a bit about yourself. Where were you born? Yep. Parents' background? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I was born in Pindara Hospital on the Gold Coast. There's a couple Gold Coast boys that are representing Japan. Benny Davis is one of them. So from the same spot as him. Dad is full Aussie. He's from Canberra and then moved up to the Gold Coast ages ago. And mum's fully Japanese. So I'm half Aussie, half Japanese. Like you said before, same as a lot of the other boys. So yeah, Gold Coast is great.
Yeah. And so what were your earliest memories of growing up? Because I know you spent a bit of time growing up in Japan as well.
Yeah. From 2 to 4 years old, I lived in Japan. I would have been 4 to 6. Went to kindergarten there. But yeah, I was only speaking Japanese at that point, which is very surprising because my Japanese is terrible. I get picked on about it by all the boys.
It's all, everyone's Japanese is terrible.
So then, yeah, exactly. And then 2 to 4, I was living in Japan in a place called Numazu. And then after that, came over to Australia. And then I pretty much switched over to English straight away, which is a bit weird, and then lost all my Japanese, unfortunately. And then just went to school in Australia from prep to when I graduated.
So since you were 4 years old, you've never been back to living full-time in Japan? How often would you come back?
Yeah, every 2 years. So year 1, year 3, year 5, year 7, year 9. And then from year 9, this is the first time I've been over there since middle school. So a long gap in between them.
Oh, right. So I always like to think about it from my perspective, but like growing up in New Zealand, there weren't many other half Japanese people where I was from. But what was it like in the Gold Coast? Was there a big Japanese community?
There's quite a large Japanese culture on the Gold Coast. A lot of full Japanese kids. Like in my grade, there would have been about three of us, excluding the international house kids that would come over. There would be a couple more. And there's a lot of half Japanese, half Aussie kids as well, boys, and so I didn't feel too out of place. Like, there's quite a few around.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so that's about your early life. Now, let's talk about, I don't know, your sporting career growing up, because I know most Aussies play numerous sports, but when was it when you first played cricket?
Yeah, when I was about 8, so year 3, we found out about Burleigh Cricket Club on the Gold Coast, and we made up a team of just pretty much our school mates. So it's just All Saints kids. That's a school I went to that were playing in that team. And by the time I graduated school, there probably would have been about 40 or 50 kids that would have represented Burleigh at some point or another club.
Right.
Even. So, I was playing under 10s as an 8-year-old in year 3.
All right. So, lots happening there. And why did you start playing? Was it because of friends, mates, or was it parents' influence? Or
our dad would always put the cricket on. He loves his cricket. And then I'd always be playing front yard cricks with him all day, every day in the summer, pretty much. Then the older I got, my mates would come over and we'd play backyard cricks. And also watching. I don't rate him as a bloke, but Michael Clark, like watching him bat as a youngster, and then Mitchell Johnson, and seeing that like Ashes series of 2013 on.
Thought being a lefty bat, you'd idolize someone like Michael
Warner.
Hussey or someone.
Hussey, no, he was good. I loved Huss.
Kawaja.
Uzi, I grew up watching Uzi.
Head.
Yeah, I love Travis.
Lefties coming up.
Yeah.
Yep. But as I know, but obviously some other people don't know, you stopped cricket for a while and you played other sports. So how long did you take a break from cricket, and then what were you doing when you
like in between? So I stopped playing cricket in 2020. I had my reasons. I wasn't enjoying it as much as I used to. There's a lot of political reasons as well, which I won't get into because that might start a couple sparks. Too much drama for one episode. I'd stopped for about 4 years. So I stopped in 2020 and then came back this year. And in between then, I was just playing rugby, trying out a couple of sports, played basketball at school. But mainly just rugby.
Yeah, and I heard you were doing quite well in rugby. Like what kind of age group stuff? And we're talking union, right?
Yeah, union. Yeah. Yes, the real,
the real
sport. But made a couple rep teams. Nothing too high up, but in your region, I was making those rep teams, and I just really enjoyed it. But now I'm
what position were you?
Halfback to fly half to fullback, and everywhere. I didn't really play centers. Not built. Doesn't really give my frame away with where the camera's at, but I'd get snapped. But mainly fullback. That's where I like playing the most.
Yeah, sounds a bit like me. I was the skinniest thing playing rugby, so I was always hiding at halfback or on the wing.
Yeah, I don't like tackling. I'll bludge on the blind side.
Fair. So that's your early cricketing memories and sporting stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just jump to, I guess it's not quite current, but nearly. How did you, first find out about Japan cricket? You approached them. How did that story come about?
I think it was my parents that approached JCA back in 2019. And then we somehow kept in contact still. My parents always had a sick feeling that I would come back to cricket at some point. So I wasn't, for a while, I wasn't interested whatsoever. But they kept those connections close. I'm very grateful that they did. Now that's planned out. But yeah, we heard about 2019. Then we visited Dougal and Alan, had a net session. And yeah, just from there.
Yep.
And now I'm here.
Yeah, probably had to do a bit about your sister. For those that don't know, Elena, she moved here at the back end of last year to start working at the JCA. So free place to crash, and you're still doing uni, right?
Yeah, I'm taking a gap year this year, but I did 1 year of uni last year at Griffith.
Nice. So no, not nice.
Hated every second of it. Hated you.
Don't tell that. Your parents are listening.
Oh, they know.
Okay. So were there any reasons why you decided to move here, or was this because you're just taking a gap year, or anything else to it? Did you want to improve your Japanese, or no interest?
No. I just wanted
to try live in Japan for a bit.
I wanted to change your environment from Australia, because that's pretty much all I knew. And my parents always encouraged me to travel. They're like, you need to get out of here for a bit. And I was like, I love the Gold Coast. There's nowhere better.
Sure.
But yeah, I went to Thailand earlier this year, cleared the head a bit, and then went to Japan. I'm very thankful that I did. Very grateful for everything that's happened over these last couple months. But it was mainly my parents saying that we just needed a change of environment just for a little bit.
Sure.
So yeah.
Still very young, so yeah, who knows? What was I going to ask? Oh yeah, what would you say is the main difference between living here and in Australia?
Australia's a lot more laid back, I'd say. A lot more cruisy on rules and everything. Is Japan, everything's very set in place. I would say. Yeah, that would be the main difference. What else? Food, of course. Price of food as well.
Yeah.
In Australia, you'd pay $40 to get 2 plates of sushi, but you get a full stomach over here. And yeah, that's the main difference: food and pricing of everything.
Sure. And then yeah, like I said, you've been working part-time at the JCA. So what have they got you doing? What's been your favorite things you've done here?
Yeah, I've match managed. I've been lucky enough to do that. I've scored online scoring. Remember there was I scored an international series, and the first 2 overs I messed up, and Alan gave me a spray. That was pretty funny. So yeah, I've done that. I've mowing the Riverside grounds a little bit, but Ashlergate's taking care of that. I'm breaking all. I'm breaking everything, Rio.
Jack of all trades.
Yes, and I've repaired the deck as well, which needed desperate fixing.
Yeah, it's looking
Everyone
good.
was always stubbing their toe.
Have you had any compliments from people?
No, not really. I mean, yes, by the staff and that, but everyone else is just using it as they would. I think hearing nothing about the deck is the compliment instead of
Sure. All right, so let's just move on to what you came here for, part of cricket in Japan. So before you moved here, what were your expectations?
Didn't really know what I was in for. I didn't play for ages before, as I mentioned. I didn't really know what this standard was going to be like, and I was very surprised. Remember my first over I was facing in Japan was against Zabir Khan. So
what game was that?
That's North Kanto trials. It
was the trials. Yeah,
I held a bat, and I saw Kazumasa in the bat. He really surprised me. And Benzo Saltawada, he was hitting absolute bombs. So I was like, there's heaps of potential in Japan. And there would also be a lot of people from India and Pakistan and Sri Lanka that great spinners and all of that. So I was a little bit surprised with it was a good surprise.
It's a good expectation. And then Yeah, so you must have only been here for a couple weeks, and then you were thrown into the Futures League, where
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
to play against the best players of your age group. How was that, and what was it like meeting all the other?
Yeah,
There was probably about 20 halfies that whole weekend.
yeah,
So what was
yeah.
it like with them?
It was good integrating with a bunch of the Harpy boys.
Yeah,
As I've heard a lot about the Harpy boys before I came over. They would give me a quick rundown of what each person is like, which is quite funny because a lot of them did turn out to be exactly how they were described. But yeah, facing uh, Bowen to Lockie, Yamamoto Lake, that was pretty humbling, I would say. And you'd have a bunch of the fast bowlers like Kiefer as well, his brother, and Declan, who
yeah,
smacked us around the park when we played him. And then also the youngsters like Hugo and Charlie Hinds, who bowled me. So,
So you were playing for the Turtles, if I
yeah,
can remember.
Turtles.
Who was some of
That
your
was Ashy and I, Ash Thurgate, was
the
spin
two
twins.
groundsmen?
Yeah, the two
Of the-
groundsmen. We prepared it, so we took poles. And he bowled really well that
yeah.
tournament as well. Just squeezed the runs. But yeah, our totals team, we're young. We're expected to lose every game. Um,
What? The teams are supposed to be made even.
they're
Why
not.
can you
Your
say that?
Vipers team was stacked and you still lost, mate. The Gorillas one. But yeah, so they're meant to be even, but Ria was coach of one of the teams and had a pretty stacked
Yeah.
side.
So we need to make the Turtles a bit stronger for
Yeah,
next year. Is what
be
you're saying.
stronger. I mean, we almost won a couple games. We won the first one against the Dragons, and then narrowly missed out. We got smacked against Gorillas, and then narrowly missed out against the Vipers, which should have cleaned us up. Yeah, and then lost the Dragons.
So yeah, after Futures League, you're part of Sono CC as well.
Yep.
What has been, I don't know, your highlights playing this season so far? Like favorite moment, favorite teammates?
Yeah. I guess got to meet a couple funny boys. Makoto Taniyama is one of the funniest blokes I've ever met. Most of the stories are probably that's on the podcast about him.
Sure.
Him and Benzo is got a heart of gold. Same as Kazumasa, his brother Shotaro. Shotaro, he's a funny, interesting character, funny bloke. But I loved hanging out with those boys. I'm really sad that going to be leaving here soon. But yeah, favorite memory? I would
Or
say,
like, yeah, getting someone out, or
oh, I'd
favorite win that we had, favorite knock.
probably against Chiba Sharks because that's the first game I played, and big rivals don't like him at all. We got up against him. Dino was giving it to him.
Yeah.
So that'd be my favorite win. Favorite moment is when Tunny had that drop catch when he came running in, he dove in, and the ball landed behind him. He started laughing.
It is funny when he's
quite
flying
funny.
around and diving around.
Or when you threw your bat.
Did he?
No, in the Japan, that was for Japan, the Japan.
I threw my bat?
Yeah, remember when you had a bowling to swung it?
Oh, yeah, that day when it was raining.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just slipped out. Yeah.
But with Sano.
Yeah, need to touch on that. You just mentioned it before, but you are returning back to Australia. Was that just seen enough of Japan and you missed Australia, or?
Yeah, it's just time to go back, just to switch it up again. Yeah, get burnt out from this beautiful country. I don't want to just take it for granted and just stay here and, I could just go back and, just go back into a bit of a routine and then come back to Japan. I'll be back and forth, so it won't be the last time seeing me, hopefully.
Yeah, when your plans to come back? You trying to aim to come back for the futures and JPL, hopefully?
Yeah, hopefully April.
Yeah.
And that's when Japan uni starts. I'm going to try and get into one of those unis in Japan and just go from there. But yeah, I'd like to try and make it into the JPL team and face some pretty high profile players.
Yeah, absolutely. I should have mentioned this in your intro, sorry, but you were named in the Japan A squad this year.
Yep.
How'd you feel about that, and how have the training camps been going?
Yeah, yeah. I was a bit surprised. I thought I was struggling a little bit, and then this one game that I had where I made a couple runs.
You
Got
know
in.
how many runs to be
Yeah,
exact, sure.
yeah, I do. I'm not gonna say. Yeah, made a couple runs. Then next week I was at work and Dougal coached me, who's the men's coach, and he said, "You're in there. When are you planning to leave?" And I said, "Oh, probably pretty soon." He's like, "Listen, mate, we're gonna want you to stay here a bit longer because you're in the Japan B squad." And I was like, "Oh." I was quite surprised, but it's been really fun. These last couple of training camps, got to meet new boys, and I got to get to know them a bit better. So yeah,
Sure. Yeah, nice, nice. Have I missed anything? Is there anything else you want to talk about before we finish with a few rapid fire questions?
yeah, trying to think. Japan, a couple of funny moments. Yes.
Yeah, but hopefully, yeah, being a part of the Japan A allows you to train with the full men's squad, and then hopefully in the future we can get some games against other countries' A teams or go on tours somewhere. That is the hope. But yeah,
Yeah, I just
we
want
didn't even say what your role is or anything. So
for what?
cricket. For cricket.
Uh,
What kind of player would you consider yourself as?
oh, right arm.
If you were to compare your batting to someone, compare your bowling to someone.
Batting, Glenn McGrath.
What was this batting like?
Terrible.
Come on.
Is it Clive Rose?
No. Well, first off, you're a leg spinner, so that doesn't work.
I'm a left arm off his mate on the wicket. No, leg spinner, Zampa?
Zampa? Yeah, it's
I
good.
don't know.
I think you're a good limited overs leg spinner.
Yeah, no, Zampa. Fielding, under 10s. Under 10s local kid.
It's gotten better since you were here, though.
Yeah, but I still get a spray from Duke.
We all get sprays from Duke. Come on, no matter what we do.
Yeah. Dropping catches everywhere.
All right, so we've gone through a lot about cricket. So let's just finish off with some Japan-specific questions. These are the same questions that Alan used to give all of us.
Okay. Okay. Glad to hear it.
So what's your favorite thing about Japan? Everyone says food, but if you can think other than food.
I've listened to that other podcast and Robbie Dean's food. Yeah. Everyone said food. Other than food, probably the landmarks, the architecture, and all that. It's very unique compared to where I'm from.
Sure.
Yeah, I saw Tokyo Tower the other week. That's pretty good. And yeah, I just want to say food.
Sure, food. There is a food question coming up.
Okay, sweet.
So, for someone that might be living in Japan or someone that hasn't go, what's one place that any person has to go to?
Has to go to. Yeah, good question.
Again, can't just say Tokyo. It's got to be somewhere in Tokyo. Sure.
Shibs.
Somewhere in Tokyo or like, I don't know, your hometown.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd say
any underrated areas.
I'd say you'd have to climb Mount Fuji.
Yeah, you did that.
Yeah, I did. Do that. Yeah, I'd say climbing Mount Fuji makes you feel good after you complete it. The view's outstanding.
Yeah.
So if you,
I think you've only got a few more weeks in the year until they
to climb it.
Yeah.
But if anyone's ever over in Japan, the hike's long. I don't like walking either. But
if you do it with mates.
Yeah, if you do it with mates, you got to go with friends. If you do it on your own, you're psycho. I don't know how you can do that. Climbing Mount Fuji, that's a niche one.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it, and I did with a couple of friends. So yeah.
All right. So food question. What's your favorite Japanese food? And then maybe a Japanese food that you just won't touch.
Mhm.
You hate
Okay. I don't like mochi.
mochi. Okay,
Really don't like it. I don't
just
know
the texture.
texture. It's a hot take is
What about
that
those ones with the ice cream ones? No,
I wouldn't
just
touch it.
nothing.
Yeah. Even as a kid, mochi I don't like. I love uh of katsu. Anything deep fried. I will
Karage.
absolutely
Yeah,
I'd absolutely demolish. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, if you have mochi,
that's one thing you'll miss, the food.
yeah,
Oh, I guess one would
yeah.
is
I
pretty
mean,
good food.
depends if I want to pay $40. Like that's
Yeah.
it.
Last question.
Mhm.
You said you were no good at Japanese, but
Yep.
I want to know your favorite Japanese word
Here
or
we
phrase
go.
you use
Here
and
we
what
go.
that means.
Okay, I've been using these ones excessively. Wagamama. Wagamama. That means being selfish,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Mia introduced me. Mia introduced me to a lot. And iwake. Iwake means like excuses. So that one gets
Stop using
put on
excuses.
all the
Yeah.
boys. Drop a catch. Oh, my hands were iwake.
Something was in my eye.
Yeah, so iwake or wagamama, and then the English ones.
I thought you would have said mura.
Oh,
That's
mura.
that's a popular one.
Mura. Mura. Or
Mura just translates to, what does it translate to?
Mura.
You don't know?
No, I do, but I don't know how to describe it. How would you describe it?
Mura is the translation to village.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
village,
a
everyone
village.
knows what.
Yeah, like that is mura. Like
What's the example of mura in cricket?
there's a couple. Like a guy was wearing a backwards hat and then a helmet on top.
Yeah,
That's mura. What else?
Mura.
A guy
White
didn't
pads.
have a number on the back, so he had permanent marker. The Sharpie drew it on the back. He got lime stream. That's mura. What else? Going out to bat with thigh pad on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was Hassan Kamal that was dressing up with.
That is, yeah. There's some good examples.
Yeah, Mura. So many examples. I can go on forever. But yeah, Mura is like, it means village.
Sure.
So yeah, Mura.
Alrighty. That's pretty much all the questions. Anything you want to say?
Yeah.
What are you going to be up to?
I'm going to see my mates on the Gold Coast in a couple of weeks. So I told a couple of them I was doing a podcast. So I just want to shout out DB and all the boys.
I guess when you go back, pre-season cricket's going to be starting over there.
Yes, so I'm going to get straight into it. It's going to be cricket. I'm going to try and play for Gold Coast Dolphins or Burley.
How good.
Again. And what's another thing? Never be behind Ben Davis in a warm-up.
Sure.
He knows why.
Okay.
If he watches it, he knows why. That's specifically directed at you, mate. Champ.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, thanks, Jake, for coming on. Hope we see more of you. Come back next year, and good luck for going back home. And the cricket back over in Australia.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me.
Sweet as. Alrighty, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that listen with Jake. Thank you again, Jake, for jumping on. And in the future, please reach out to me if you want to, feel like you're interesting enough to be on the pod, because I'm always looking for guests, obviously. But yeah, for the remainder of the pod, I will be going through the standings mostly. It would take me forever to go through individual accolades of everyone. I will be doing some sort of end of year pod going through the best performances, hopefully. So you'll have to wait until then for more individual accolades and stuff like that. But for now, I'm just going to be skimming through most of the leagues that are run in Japan and go through the standings, as we are over 3/4 of the season for most of the leagues. But yeah, let's go firstly to a fairly new comp, which is the JCL T20. Obviously now there's more of an emphasis on the short game, so the JCL T20 is, I think we've run that for the second year now. It's been running most of the season, but we've had lots of breaks with JCL Division 1 and then public holidays and so forth in between. But all JCL T20 games are being live streamed on the YouTube, so you can watch the full games or the highlights over there. It's been quite a successful comp so far. I think we've had more teams enter this season, and there's a new group division. Instead of, I think we might have had like 4 to 8 groups last year. Now it's just 2 groups of 7. So each team plays 4 times, and then after that, the top 4 teams of each group go through to a quarterfinal, and fingers crossed that this gets uploaded in time, as the quarterfinals are set to be played this weekend and on turf. So we haven't had any turf games since the WJPL after that busy period. So look forward to that. Again, catch those games on this weekend. Let's just have a quick through of the top 4 teams. So in Group A, we had the Sierra Knights, who I think are a new team that were unbeaten. They played for 1-3. One was rained out, I thought, cancelled due to heat. So they finished top of the table with Max, KKR, and the Tokyo Falcons, who were second, third, and fourth. And then in Group B, Tigers, we obviously know they are a formidable side. Did they win the T20 last year? I think they might have. Followed by Sano. Somehow my team made it second. And then followed by Wyverns third. And then Men in Blue just making it over Alpha Quashes on net run rate. And how the quarterfinals works is all on seeding. So Group A's number 1 team would play Group B's 4th team. So this weekend, Sierra Knights are up against Men in Blue. Max will be playing Wyverns, KKR playing Sano, and then Tigers playing Tokyo Falcons. So that is the JCL T20 done. Moving on to our next biggest competition, we have the JCL Division 1. And this year, there's only been one team that has dominated every game, and that is the Tokyo Falcons, winning 8 out of 8 with a nearly whopping 40 points on the table. They have destroyed most teams, and most teams have played 8 games, so they only remain 2 to 3 games left to go in the season before the top 4 teams go into a semi-finals. Number 2 on the ladder is the Chiba Sharks. After having a couple disappointing years, they're back where they belong, I guess. Number 2nd on 26 points, and then Max 3rd on 25 points. Max and Falcons were a semi-finals last year, I believe. And then the new team who got promoted last year, KKR, they sit 4th, equal with Men in Blue, and then Tigers and Sano equal points right now, 17 points. So teams 4 to 7 is quite tight, so it's going to be an exciting finish in the end. The bottom 4 teams, they've had very disappointing seasons. Rising Stars, Wyverns, and Alpha Quashes, with all just one win, and then the Tokyo Wombats yet to win a game. They came so close a couple times, but yeah, let's hope they finish the season off in good fashion. That is our Division 1, and then moving on to Division 2. I guess for the rest, I'll just name the top 3 teams. So Tokyo Titans, first 11, they are unbeaten. I feel like every number 1 team is unbeaten now. Tokyo Titans first, Tigers second 11, second, and then Sano second 11, third. Division 3, we have Serendip for first 11, who are unbeaten, of course, first, followed by the Men in Blue third 11, and then the Tokyo Falcons third 11 to round up the top 3. And then the new division we have for this year, JCL Division 4, the Tokyo Titans are in third. The Tokyo Titans third 11 are first, followed by the Alpha Quashes fourth 11, and the Men in Blue fourth 11. That is all our men's competitions. Japan Cup, yes, that will be another separate podcast, I hope, as Japan Cup finals will be played next month, actually. So we're looking forward to that. If we go to the Japan Women's Cricket League, we've got 7 teams this season with Miranda's joining in. And then runners-up last year, Sendai University, unbeaten, 5 played, 5 wins, followed by Adore and the defending champions KKR in at third. Other competitions, we have, I guess I'll just quickly round out the under-15s and under-19s. The under-19 league is the Sano Braves under-19 team, who are sitting at first place, followed by the Tokyo Falcons under-19, and then the Osaka Uenomiya under-19 team in at third. And then lastly, we have got the under-15 league. GIS are first, followed by the Men in Blue under-15s, and then Serendip. So yeah, I've probably missed out on other comps that are happening, but those are the basic comps. I know that's a whole mouthful. And then, yes, when I have more time by the end of the season, I'll be giving personal, individual awards. We do have the JCL awards, but I guess podcasts, separate awards, giving props to the biggest scores this season, best figures, highest MVP rankings, and so forth. But yeah, that was a pretty quick recap in under 8 minutes of most things that are happening over the next couple months. Yes, it is coming to the end of the season soon, so we'll be having a lot of playoff games in all the comps, so be on the lookout for that. Cool, that is all the domestic stuff, really. In terms of the international scene for the next couple months, the men's, we did discuss this on the last podcast with Dougal. The men's will be going into their sub-regional qualifier, Group A, I think it's A or B, to Korea, where they will be playing teams Indonesia, Korea, and I always forget this, Philippines, trying to make it out of the group. We've recently just had the other EAP sub-regionals over in Samoa, where Samoa did come through with a big upset over teams such as Vanuatu and Cook Islands. So they will be going through as the Group B representative, I think. And then there was some interesting news from the ICC that we got over the last month or two, is that the ICC have now decided to combine the EAP and Asia qualifiers. Now, originally there was one representative from the EAP who would go through the T20 World Cup, which was Papua New Guinea, and then 2 from Asia. I think the last one was maybe Oman and Nepal. But now, instead of 2 from Asia, 1 from EAP, now the competition's going to be combined into 3 teams making it out from that group, which makes it more difficult for Japan for sure, as now we've got to play teams such as the UAE, Oman, Nepal, Hong Kong to make it through. But yeah, with more challenges brings more, I don't know, opportunities, I guess. But yeah, that's looking way into the future. Firstly, the men's have to make it out of their sub-regional qualifiers. And then straight after that, sub-regional qualifiers, the women go to Korea for their East Asia Cup, and they will be playing teams Hong Kong, China, and Korea, I believe. So yeah, the men's games will be streamed on ICC TV, and then I'm guessing the East Asia Cup, the Women's East Asia Cup, will be streamed through a different service. But obviously, just follow our social media to keep informed with stuff like that, because there'll be more news about squad announcements and more tournaments coming. So please follow our Instagram. I was about to call it X, our Facebook, where we upload all news about our Japan national teams. But yeah, before I keep talking about nonsense, I'm going to end the podcast here. I think we've talked about a lot. Again, be sure to give this podcast a review and comment, or if you're watching this on the YouTubes, please give it a like and comment, and share what kind of more content you want to see in the future, I guess, if it is more about talking through individual players, more interviews like I did with Jake on this podcast, or yeah, anything else. Please, I'm still very new to this podcast / YouTube thing, so yeah, I'm open to criticism. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you all for listening, and yeah, be sure to watch out for more content in the future. Cool.